All right, welcome in Broncos country. I'm the Kodiak, and today I am here to talk about some Broncos headlines that happened today on Broncos Twitter, and the fact that it seems like some Broncos media members cannot accept the fact that Russ is cooked. Now, before I get into this, I just want to say a couple things. First of all, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. You can always wait till the end, and hopefully I'll have earned it. And listen, I'm not here to go after anyone. I'm not here to, discredit anyone's credibility as a beat writer. But what I am here to do is question as to why we are still making excuses for Russell Wilson, why we feel the need to still be a PR mouthpiece for Russell Wilson when A, he gave us nothing as a Broncos quarterback, and B, he's cooked. He is bad, and all this mudslinging keeps happening no matter where he is. Even when it was time for him to leave in Seattle, he apparently asked the owners to fire Pete Carroll and John Schneider and, hire different GM, different head coach. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, man. But Russell Wilson's PR team has been working overtime for the past 3 years. No, he's not that bad of a dude. Russ is a walking, talking brand. He does not feel like an authentic dude whatsoever. Granted, I'm not here to say that he's a bad dude or anything like that. But everywhere he's gone, it has been a character assassination of either the GM, the coach, or even in this case, the offensive coordinator. So sorry that my face cam is blocking out the top right, but this article is called Arthur Smith Stopped Letting Russell Wilson Audible Cause Divide. This is by Jarrett Bailey, and this is actually on the SB Nation, the Steelers SB Nation community. So this Jarrett Bailey guy said that in this case, Wilson is right. But it has been debunked by many Steelers reporters. They all say that this is all inherently false. If this was true, then yeah, I can agree with that. Granted, I understand why you would need some training wheels on a guy like Russell Wilson because of how reckless he can play sometimes. But listen, so this article says at the end of 2024, there were reports that Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith and quarterback Russ were at odds with one another. Smith reportedly stopped letting Wilson change calls at the line of scrimmage. Multiple sources have told, the Post-Gazette that the offense lacked imagination, blah, blah, blah. And while many fans, media members laid a lot of the blame on Wilson for the shortcomings of the offense, this makes Smith look petty and resentful. And listen, I'm not here to paint Arthur Smith as some angel or anything. He was the head coach in Atlanta last year, and he just looked like a dude who was too immature and too petty to be in the big chair. And that rang true with, how he would talk to media, how he would be like, they would just be like, well, Drake London had one catch for 5 yards today. What happened? Why isn't he a big part of the offense? Then he was like, let the gambling or fantasy dudes worry about that, as if it's not an invalid question as to why they completely wasted the 8th overall pick on Drake London, 4th overall pick on Kyle Pitts, stuff like that. But Benjamin Allbright did a lot today on Twitter. And, when all this was coming up today, a lot of people were just absolutely cooking the fact that, Allbright has really seemed to be plugged into Russ's team over the past couple of years. And maybe he knows the dude personally. I'm not entirely sure. But it feels like Allbright has really, really worked to defend Russ vehemently over the past couple of years, ever since he was our quarterback and ever since we were in the midst of that 2022 year. Because he tweeted about how Russ has an office, but also Kenny Pickett has an office, Brady has an office, and those things can get overblown. And I don't disagree with that. But it seems like everything that has come out from, Allbright over the past few years in regards to Russell Wilson has been all of Broncos country is this guy, we wish him well. I mean, maybe, but he just does not provide anything as a quarterback anymore. And then today, under Zone X, this dude tweeted out, or actually Patrick Chiotti of Altitude Adjustment, Let's Talk Broncos, tweeted out something that says, all right, remember when a bunch of people said it was Sean Payton ruining Russ? Now it's Arthur Smith ruining Russ. Maybe it's Russ ruining Russ. And this guy under Zone X, Matty F. Brown, who's a Seahawks guy by the fact that he's accredited on Seahawks on tape or whatever his handle is in his bio. They just tweeted about, Russ not being able to, run the offense anymore. What actually, now, this is everybody in Pittsburgh actually debunking the original report that had come out. But what actually occurred with Wilson, according to people inside the team, is that all of our naked guys could plainly tell us he wasn't following the play calls. He was holding the ball way too long. And then Benjamin Allbright tweets out by saying, or maybe the truth is usually somewhere in between. And not really, it's all the above. He just types out this really, really long reply about how Russ is a high variance quarterback. And, he played well in the first 4 games of 2023. And, you're going to have to live with some of the negativity that Russ comes with. But listen, um, the Patrick Quixote and Zach Seegers both had really good responses to Benjamin Allbright. And first of all, before you accuse me of just like cherry picking, this was after the Steelers lost the playoff game where Allbright was tweeting out Russ wasn't the one calling plays in the first half. Russ wasn't the one refusing to go for it. Russ wasn't the one that pushed off. I'm not saying he's lighting the world on fire, but blaming him for this ain't it. Like, this has been his common thing. He's just like, I'm not saying that he's like, a great quarterback or anything, but blah, blah, blah. And for some reason, it's always someone else's fault. But we see Arthur Smith and Peyton dramatically adapt their schemes for the quarterback, and then that high variance style with a very small menu of options blew up down the stretch because a limited menu is very easy to defend when D's get more tape on it. And yeah, could Sean Payton have done more? Sure. But Russ is just not that good at all. Like, I think you guys are searching for degrees of who to blame more when in reality it just doesn't work. You don't need to put the blame. You just need to move on. Like, okay, I would understand you not needing to put the blame on someone if it had just been like, all right, he's off the team, whatever. Thankful for the Broncos for giving me this opportunity. But a year ago, the NFL world was calling Sean Payton a thug for letting Russell Wilson go. And listen, this was actually pointed out by Zach Seegers then as well. I think because last year there was a narrative battle about how this wasn't Russ's fault, it was the big mean Peyton, and I think correcting that record is value because I think that narrative war led to a pretty inaccurate view of the staff this year, and that's completely right because we were on uneven surface when creating our team this year. $75 million in dead cap due to Russell Wilson, and guess what? We made the playoffs, and guess what? We made the playoffs even after we had the worst roster in the NFL and had reached for a quarterback at the 12th overall pick. So listen, whatever you want to say about Russell Wilson, I think it's just weird to keep defending him when Sean Payton was right about Nathaniel Hackett. Sean Payton was right about Russell Wilson. Sean Payton was right about Bo Nix. So listen, man. Another guy I want to touch on is this James Merrilatt dude. Now, he actually, I think he works for 104.3. I don't know. I haven't listened to 104.3 in a really long time. I don't listen to like Denver sports media anymore. And, apparently this dude was upset that, we traded Miko Rantanen. Did they hoist the cup last night? I can't believe I missed it. Well, reality is Nate just looks like a dog. But Russell Wilson will go to a Super Bowl before Sean Payton. This is literally the tweet that's been pinned on his profile. And he just gets, lambasted every single chance that we get as Broncos country because it is just clownable to have this level of delusion and, stick to your guns this much because it has been a year. Like, I could understand being upset immediately after all that stuff happened, but if you're going to stick to your guns and do all that, like, this dude literally showed up to the Steelers-Broncos game, I'm pretty sure, in a Steelers jersey this year. So, James Merrilatt, we do not claim you as one of ours. That's just plain and simple. Did Sean win the Super Bowl? Did I miss the parade? Like, okay, once again, this is a really weird, attitude to be sticking with because, Russell Wilson, it is it is not in question to see if he's even going to play in the NFL next year. I could see, even though the Raiders need a quarterback, I could see Pete Carroll being like, absolutely not. I could see other quarterback needy teams being like, absolutely not as well. And I don't fault the Steelers for taking a chance on a guy like Russell Wilson, but still, it's just wild to me, man. Like, this is done. Sean Payton is our coach now. I think we need to realize this, and I think we all need to recognize this as well. Because going forward, Russell Wilson is not going to be a part of the picture when it comes to this team. The only time I'm even going to talk about him is when I talk about his contract and when I talk about, we still have $30 million in dead cap next year or whatever it is, and that's kind of holding back. But in 2026, once all that expires, you know what? Game on when it comes to building our team. So yeah, once again, it just feels weird to still be defending this dude based on how little he gave us. And, again, it's always somebody else's fault when it comes to Russell Wilson. So, if he's going to keep on doing his mudslinging campaign and he's going to have his dudes in the media sticking up for him, then by all means, that's, whatever. It is what it is. But listen, everybody who's a true ball knower really understands what is going on. And once again, this isn't me trying to come at Allbright. This isn't me trying to come at Merrilatt, even though I think their takes are clownable, especially for being bigger Broncos pages. But listen, man, we just need to realize, once again, Russell Wilson, no longer a part of the picture. So yeah, that does it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.